Saudi Arabia says that a journalist who went missing over a fortnight ago in Turkey died in a fist fight inside its consulate in Istanbul. Riyadh has already dismissed 2 senior officials and arrested 18 others linked to the case. Well, that explanation surrounding the disappearance of Jamal Khashoggi has already been dismissed as improbable and has drawn severe backlash from journalists and politicians alike. It also contradicts earlier Saudi claims that Khashoggi left the consulate shortly after arriving there. There are calls now for the Gulf monarchy to bear full responsibility for what happened, while Donald Trump says he is satisfied with the latest account.
The discussions that took place with the citizen Jamal Khashoggi during his presence in the consulate of the kingdom in Istanbul by the suspects did not go as required and developed in a negative way, led to a fight and a quarrel between some of them and the citizen Jamal Khashoggi, yet the brawl aggravated to lead to his death and their attempt to conceal and cover what happened.
Do you consider it credible, their explanation?
I do. I mean, it's early. We haven't finished our review or investigation, but I think it's a very important first step, and it happened sooner than people thought it would happen.
Well, just some background. 59-year-old Jamal Khashoggi had lived in the U.S. for the past year in self-imposed exile. He was a columnist for the Washington Post and had written extensively about Saudi Arabia. Khashoggi was once believed to be close to the Saudi royal family, but had been critical of the country's heir to the throne, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. The journalist drew attention to Riyadh's war in Yemen and women's rights in the Gulf monarchy. Well, Khashoggi had entered the Saudi consulate in Istanbul on October 2nd to pick up a document for his upcoming wedding. Shortly after his disappearance, Turkey announced it had audio records of the journalist's alleged killing by a Saudi hit team. Here's RT's Dan Cohen.
King Salman has fired 5 top officials and arrested 18 people. Among those fired are Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's advisor, Saud al-Qahtani, and Deputy Intelligence Chief Major General Ahmed al-Asiri. They're being investigated about the case. The White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders has released a statement saying, these are the exact words, "The United States acknowledges the announcement from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia that its investigation into the fate of Jamal Khashoggi is progressing and that it has taken action against the suspects it has identified thus far. We will continue to closely follow the international investigations." So the Saudi version that we are hearing tonight about a fistfight that led to his death is very different from what the Turks have been leaking through the international press. Turkish intelligence have been claiming that a Saudi hit team of 15 people killed Khashoggi within just a matter of minutes after Khashoggi arrived at the Saudi embassy in Istanbul. They claim to have video and audio recording showing the Saudi team listening to music through headphones as they cut Khashoggi's fingers off, beheaded him, and dismembered his body with a bone saw. President Trump has called on Turkey to release the audio and video if it exists. This has led to unprecedented scrutiny of Saudi Arabia and its relationship with the Trump administration. Much of the outrage has been specifically directed at the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman. We've seen protests outside the White House here in Washington, and Democrats are seizing on the Trump administration's relationship with Saudi Arabia as midterm elections near.
Well, when the case first garnered global attention, President Trump threatened Riyadh with severe punishment. But that appears not to include scrapping multi-billion-dollar arms contracts between the monarchy and Washington.
Saudi Arabia has been a great ally, but what happened is unacceptable. But I would prefer that we don't use as retribution canceling $110 billion worth of work. They are ordering military equipment. Everybody in the world wanted that order. Russia wanted it, China wanted it, we wanted it. We got it, and we got all of it, every bit of it. I don't like stopping massive amounts of money that's being poured into our country, spending $110 billion on military equipment and on things that create jobs, like jobs and others for this country.
Well, RT's Afshin Rattanzi spoke to a friend of Jamal Khashoggi on today's episode of Going Underground, who says the journalist expected to be arrested.
Jamal Khashoggi always insisted until the day he died, and I had a discussion with him only hours before he disappeared. He insisted he wasn't an opposition member against the royal family. He was just a critic of some of the policies adopted by the Crown Prince. He was very anxious that the country was taking a turn into what is worse. He was afraid or he was concerned about its future. That's why he wrote what he wrote. But he was never a member of the opposition. He knew if he went back to Saudi Arabia, he would have been arrested and probably sent behind bars like some of his other friends.